Good afternoon. So today I'm going to share with you my flight for today. I took off in March, so you'll see some videos where this kind of jumps around, but it was extremely cold outside this morning, around 30 degrees, but the weather was perfect. One of those few windows where I could really get out there and get into the sky, so I took advantage of that. You will see some things that were great, as far as my launch, some of the video I got, ran into some issues where it was really cold. However, my camera unfortunately was pointed too low, and we'll cover that later for my chase cam, so just some learning lessons there as well. But all in all, I had a great flight. It was great to be up in the air and see some of the views. Another thing too, this video was recorded on accident using the 360 view camera, where I really wish I had done it with just the straightforward. I got some cool shots with the 360, however with my camera I usually want to get a straightforward view as you get better quality going forward. So the majority of the video that you see will be shot with the 360 instead of a forward camera. I then spliced it together with video from my chase cam. Unfortunately, that was pointed towards the ground for the majority of that flight as well. Maybe got 2 or 3 frames of myself before it decided it was going to look at the ground the entire time. So with that, I'm going to turn this video over to my former self a couple hours ago, and we'll see what went on.
Good morning. We just got to the LZ and we're going to get set up. I'm going to try to do a brisk early morning flight. It's a little cool, so I got bundled up, but should be clear winds, and we'll get ready for the field.
All right, to kind of show you my setup, here's how I do it. Seems to work though. Strap it to the back of my car, and I can get out to my field and take off. So with that, we're going to do some pre-flights, and then we'll get geared up and we'll hit the air. So I like to take my time as I get set up, get my windsock out, get all my gear ready. I know there's always a little bit of pre-flight nerves, mainly because I'm a brand new pilot, but I still want to make sure I do all the right checks, make sure everything's safe. Just really take my time and not rush anything. Helps me get ready for the launch.
not the best landing. Alright, let's do a little bit of a post brief, some lessons learned. It was a really beautiful day out. Winds were very smooth. Didn't really hit too much turbulence, either up or down, quite a bit. Some things that I did find out that I should have brought my heated gloves along. That would have done a huge amount of difference. My hands are freezing. I'm currently in my car getting a little warmed up. Other than that, the rest of my body was head to toe. It was a-okay. So I'm gonna go get my wing packed up and then we'll catch up again. So my approach came back from over here. We landed over here. Probably would have had a better landing, but as you can see possibly from the video, I had some problems killing my engine, and since I'm still new at it, wasn't comfortable taking off my gloves and trying to do it, so I had to cross my arms, which I knew pulled a little bit brake a little bit earlier than I anticipated. But once I got that engine killed and I knew I was safe, I came in for a pretty smooth landing. Still want to work on that technique. If it wasn't so freaking cold out today, I probably would have worked on some touch and goes, but that'll be for another day. So until then, just gotta get this wing cleaned up, make sure it gets nice packed away safely. Okay, let's talk a little bit about that flight. So all in all, it was a pretty good flight. Got up in the air, made some mistakes as far as judging how cold it was going to be. I knew it was going to be chilly, but next time I'm going to wear my heated gloves as I get a little bit higher as well. As you can see from the video, and you'll see from some of my subtitles, as I got further out, my hands actually started to get really cold. My fingertips in general. A couple times I tried to bring my hands towards my torso to just kind of keep them warmed up. That's when I made the decision to turn around and go back to my LZ, just so I could make sure that I still had my appendages intact for when I tried to make my landing. I wanted to make sure I had full control. But some of the really cool things is that you were able to see downtown Indianapolis. There was really good shots of the reservoir that is south of where I live, up further northeast, almost towards Fort Wayne. You can see all the windmills. So I got a really cool playground of areas to stop in and to check out. So I'm going to try to get those as we get better weather as well. So some disappointing things that I got were my chase cam, while hooked up and did the right job, didn't really get a good view of the back. Unfortunately, I think I'm going to have to readjust my hang point as it tilted quite a bit. So I'm going to review the footage and see if I need to move back a couple of pegs or if I need to move forward. That way, as it's being towed along, it's pointed brightly at my backside. Instead, I think it's a little bit more like this, and I think that's due to the heaviness of the camera. So I think we'll have to play around a little bit with that hang point to find out exactly what that right spot should be. But all in all, the chase cam did do its job as intended. I would greatly recommend buying one from PPG Smoke. It came in real fast, it just snaps together, super light. Has the bracket already in place to mount your camera, so whatever camera you want, you can add. I didn't go above and beyond on buying my camera. I just bought the cheapest 4K version just because I knew that this one is going to be taking shots almost like B-roll footage. And also it comes with this really durable little case to keep the camera safe as well, because I knew there was going to be chances of it being dragged across the ground as well. Another thing right now, my wing currently is in my living room, or my kitchen I should say, spread out, getting dried up. Got a little bit of water as I got some of the dew on it when I was making sure everything was untangled before I put it back into its bag as well. So making sure I take proper care of my wing is super important to me, so I will always make sure that even if it gets just a little bit wet, that I always spread it out, make sure it's aired out nice and dry before I put it back into its stuffed bag, so that way nothing forms on it. And as you can see, I also keep my paramotor in my house along with my wing and everything, so I do know that the conditions that I keep it in are always going to be the best that I can afford, or the best I can have. So in here you can see my wing. I got draped out across my kitchen table. In my kitchen, that's to make sure that I can get everything aired out. I had some water that had built up or around the tips and the edges on the back side of my wing where I had set it down from the new dew. So I want to make sure that that's all aired out. So periodically I'll come in here and kind of reposition all the wing, reposition parts of it to make sure that it gets dried out appropriately as well.
So I want to say thank you for watching that video of my flight today. I'm going to upload more flights as they come in, and you'll start to see my progression as a pilot. Also, as the weather starts to turn better, I want to say a special thank you to all my friends and family for supporting me, and Midwest PPG as well for the training. But I also want to give a special shout out to Micah Stevens of Lifted PPG. He's always been there for me, answering some of my questions that I have as I come up as a newbie. So check out his channel at Lifted PPG, and his name is Micah Stevens. And once again, thank you very much for watching, and you guys have a great day.